Okay guys, good afternoon. So this is our discussion, the continuation, or should I say, I decided to repeat the entire discussion for chapter 4, specifically for this topic, the educational communication media. Bakit? Kasi wala tayong PowerPoint or visual presentation nun, no? Maliit. Meron man laptop lang yung ginamit natin. So I decided to repeat the entire discussion for this topic. So let us now begin. Okay, so here is our objectives, or objective, should I say. At the end of this lesson, students are expected to understand the educational communication media and of course, yung applicability niya in the development work. So, ibig sabihin, hindi lang natin aaralin to by theory, but more on, aalamin din natin kung paano to ginagamit sa mga real-life situations. So, lalong-lalo na sa pagtuturo. If someday you will be an instructor like me, it's better na may insights kayo sa mga ganitong bagay, no? And of course, pwede natin din itong gamitin. The very purpose of EDCOM in development communication is for community development, to teach our target community. So yun. But if I would give you an example regarding on how I utilized it, siguro sa una kong work, yes, in terms of development works, pag nag-field work kami, so kapag merong intended, halimbawa may audience kami dapat na makausap, si Jamie yung tatawagin, what do we need to do regarding this audience? So, syempre, unang-una, i-assess mo kung ano yung present information na meron doon sa mga tao, no? But here in teaching class, since it's really my first time, and EDCOM is something that I did not encounter during my college days, sabi ko nga, watak-watak ko siya na-encounter, but not the very principle of EDCOM na it is something that we use, okay? The special use of media for the designing your teaching material, and of course facilitating the learning process. So mahalaga na naaaral natin to. Ayun. So medyo napahaba intro natin, no? But yeah, to share it sa benchmarking na nagawa rin sa UPLB, we have found out na ang EDCOM dapat meron tong laboratory classes eh. So apart from our lecture classes, which we are doing here in our semester, current semester should I say, dapat to may mga laboratory para may application po yung learnings ninyo. So babawi na lang tayo sa activities. So class nga pala, for after this discussion, magkakaroon na kayo ng inyong midterm project for this lesson. Okay, so yung midterm project na yon, I will be announcing it might be next week. Okay, next week. At bibigyan ko kayo ng ample time to create that specific midterm requirement. Okay? So now let's proceed. Once again, our topic is all about chapter 4, and this is all about the educational communication media. So now let us define kung ano naman yung media at educational media. Okay, pag sinabi nating media class, ito yung mga tools, no, channels or technologies used to store and deliver and then to communicate information. So sa madaling sabi, sila yung mga medium dinadaluyan ng impormasyon na sasabihin natin sa ating mga tao. So maaari it includes like this one example, books, no? Books, radio, television, social media, and digital apps. These books, radio, and televisions, yan ay example ng mga tinatawag nating traditional media, no? And then social media naman, may presence of internet, social media, and of course digital apps. Ito ay mga tinatawag nating digital media, no? So yan. In simple terms, so ibig sabihin yung media daw para itong bridge, no? O yun nga, daluyan or daan kung saan dumadaan yung mga impormasyon natin mula sa atin bilang sender and of course papunta sa ating mga receiver. So yun po yung media, channels or tools that we use to communicate our information. So now, puntahan naman natin, ano naman gayon kung ganun yung educational media. So ito naman yung mga tools class na design for teaching and learning, no? So hindi lang to basta-basta media, inaangkop to dun sa mga target audience natin. So educational media class, ang intention nito class ay hindi lamang para mag-present ng impormasyon, no? But the very purpose of educational media is from the root word itself, educational media. Of course, it is to educate, no? Magturo at saka magpaliwanag ng mga concepts. Hindi lang basta-basta magbigay ng impormasyon. Bakit ginagawa yon? Of course, to enhance the comprehension ng ating mga learners. For example, itong ginagawa natin na video lesson, hindi lang to basta video lesson na para mag-present sa inyo ng information, no? For example, I choose to just upload the PowerPoint. Yes, the information is uploaded in the Google Classroom, for example. But do you know the other details about it? And that's why we are making this video lesson. So yan, example, instructional videos, e-learning platforms, interactive simulations, yung mga nag-i-involve ng tinatawag nating tactile or kinesthetic form of media na i-involve mismo yung mga tao dun sa isang specific activity in using that media. And then again, ito na naman, traditional example of educational media, we have the printed modules. So yun. Now let's move forward. This is now about the three properties of media. So when we say properties, baka tayo ay nalilito at ito ay mahalagang terminology lang na dapat nating maunawaan. When we say properties, 'di ba, ito yung mga tinatawag nating uri o anyo, no? Bawa, three properties of matter. In science, we use that term. So ano yung three properties of matter? We have the gas, liquid, tapos solid. So may pang-apat pa actually, that's the plasma. Anyway, sinabi ko lang for you to never forget that when we say three properties of media, ito po yung tatlong uri ng media. Okay, so now let's have this. The three key properties of media, no? Property might be uri, characteristics, or their key features. So puntahan natin. Unang-una po, yung tinatawag nating sensory involvement. Pangalawa, technological complexity, and of course, the symbol and symbol systems. So puntahan natin, ano-ano ba yung properties na yan? Uri, characteristics, or features. So class, when we learn to understand these three properties of media, mas maunawaan natin kung paano nag-work yung media sa learning process ng ating mga target audience. So una, puntahan natin tong sensory involvement. So when we say sensory class, ito ay sinasabi kung paano ba nag-engage o paano ba yung dating ng media sa ating mga senses. So media vary in how they engage in human senses, which greatly affects how the learners receive and process the information. So it refers in short term, it refers on how media engages the visual, how media engages with our senses. Ito ba ay through our visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. So, saan yung applicability nito based on our past discussion? So, sa 2A, nakapag-discuss kami about this. So, which theory yung nag-a-apply itong tinatawag nating sensory involvement, no? So, maaari class, ito yung sa cognitive theory, also the CT ML theory, no? O yung tinatawag nating cognitive theory of multimedia learning. Ano sinasabi doon? Yung tao natututo hindi lang on the way how we see things, but also kapag ito ay ating naririnig din, no? So, yon. And of course, when we're using this visual aids na makatutulong sa mga tao para makita yung ng malinaw yung mga information sa tinatawag naman nating constructivism theory. And of course, lalong-lalo na doon sa tinatawag natin na yung pinaka sinasabi ni John Dewey at sinuportahan ni Edgar Dale, you let people learn to do. Okay? You let people learn by involving them on something that they can do. So, ito yung purposes naman ng tactile or kinesthetic. So, it involves the hands-on material such as models, manipulative, something that they can manipulate, or interactive simulation, of course, to promote the experiential learning. So, for example, class, So again, ulitin natin. Visual, ito yung ating mga nakikita, auditory, naririnig, tactile or kinesthetic, ito yung mga something na ating hahawakan. So let's have this. For example, you're watching a science video, no? So this science video, it includes both the visual and auditory senses. But if we incorporate a 3D model on that specific science video, ngayon, i-involve na rin yun, i-involve na rin nun yung tactile or kinesthetic. So, these 3D models, of course, they involve touching and of course, manipulating kung ano man yun, no? So, yan, mas natututo yung tao. So, tingnan natin, yung educational insight, if we use these multiple senses, the multi-sensory learning, to be exact, nakatutulong to para ma-enhance yung ating memory retention and of course, the way how we comprehend things na, kumbaga ay hindi natin initially naiintindihan o mahirap para sa atin maintindihan. Again, the more senses involved, the better the learning retention and of course, comprehension. So next, property of media, may tinatawag tayong technological complexity property. So pag sinabi nating technological complexity, ito yung level, no, kung paano niya ba ginagamit yung technology. So under niyan, may classifications pa tayo. Maaring sa technological complexity, under siya nung classified siya as low-tech media. Example nito yung mga charts, flashcard, whiteboards, and other physical model, no? Hindi nag-i-involve ng technology. So high-tech or nag-i-involve man pero sobrang minimal lang. Pag sinabi naman nating high-tech media, ito yung mga under ng classifications kagaya ng interactive software class, the virtual reality, the mobile applications that we are using, the LMS also or the e-learning management systems, e-learning platforms to be exact. So lahat ng yan nagre-require nung bukod sa internet, bukod sa kuryente, of course nire-require niyan yung mga digital devices. And of course, yung tinatawag nating technical know-how. Ano ba yung technical know-how? It's your ability or the user's ability to use specific technology. Dapat alam ng mga tao kung paano to gamitin. For example, saan ba mas common ginagamit yung low-tech media, no? Siyempre, dun sa, halimbawa, kung magdi-discuss tayo sa mga type of community, ang mga audience natin ay lolo, lola, ganyan, yung mga hindi familiar sa paggamit ng social media or mga digital media na meron tayo ngayon. High-tech media, of course, eto yung pansin ko ay mas hinahabol na ng current generation, should I say, or the design itself of the education system na meron tayo. We are using mobile applications, other e-learning platforms to facilitate, again, learning and teaching. So, yun po. Technological complexity. Paano ba ginagamit ng mga media nito, ng mga medyang ito, yung technology? Low-tech media lang ba or high-tech media ba sila? Okay, so yan, nasabi na natin kanina. Ngayon, ano naman ngayon yung educational insight na mapupulot natin dito? So, sinasabi niyan that media should be chosen based on the learner's context, no? Infrastructure availability, and of course the technical support. Sino yung target audience mo? Ano ba yung edad nila? Anong generation sila? Anong available infrastructure doon? Baka naman nag-prepare tayo ng mga i-access or i-scan nila na mga codes, QR codes. Wala naman pala silang cellphone. Wala naman palang tower doon, no? Na para makasagap ng enough signal. So yan, and then technical support. Sino ba yung gagamit nito? Sino yung magfa-facilitate nito? Knowledgeable ba sila? So those are the questions under the what we call technological complexity property of media, or should I say educational media. So now let's have the symbol system. So for this, media communicates information through what we call different symbol systems. So ano-ano ba yung mga symbol systems na yon? If these media daw, they communicate information through these different symbol systems or various symbol systems, ano-ano muna itong mga symbol system na to? So ito yung classifications. Might be verbal symbols, yung mga tinatawag nating written or spoken, verbal, nakasulat o mga sinasalita, gaya ng nakikita natin sa libro, lecture, and of course, podcast kapag nakikinig tayo, no? Iconic symbols. Ito naman yung mga visual representations class, kagaya ng images, graphs, emojis, and other infographics, no? So yes, this one is the last classification under the symbol systems property of educational media. Ito ba ay tinatawag nating inactive? So pag sinabi nating inactive class, ito yung it involves action. Action, ha? Okay? Or real life demonstration that the learners can observe, and of course they can also imitate. Okay? For example, class, yung graph, syempre under siya nung tinatawag nating iconic. Pero yung demonstration naman, of course, ito ay inactive. So, ano sinasabi nito? Educational insight? So, kapag tama class, yung paggamit natin ng symbol system, mas nagiging malinaw yung understanding ng ating mga learners. For example, ang tuturuan mo palang community is those kind of people na hindi mababa yung literacy rate. Kumbaga, yung iba, maraming hindi nakakabasa, ganyan. So, sa palagay ba natin, pwede tayong gumamit ng mga written instruction doon, no? Hindi tayo pwede gumamit, of course. So, what we should do in teaching them concepts, of course, maaari tayong gumamit ng mga iconic symbols. And of course, tandeman natin ng mga verbal symbols under ng mga spoken languages, no? And of course, paano natin ma-assess if they really learn? Let us involve them through the what we call inactive or inactive actions. Hayaan natin silang matuto, or dapat i-encourage natin sila to actually demonstrate those things that they learn from our iconic symbols and verbal instructions. Yan. So again, kapag mas tama yung symbol systems ng media mo, no, mas effective to para dun sa yung mga learners. It depends kung gaano nila kailangan. Okay. So now we're already done with the 3 properties of media. Again, yun yung tinatawag nating sensory involvement, technological complexity, and of course, the symbol systems. Now, let's have these functions of educational media. Pag sinabi nating function, ito po yung gamit, no? Gamit. They are the very reason why we use media. Para saan nga ba sila? Ano yung purpose nila? Paano sila ginagamit? Ano yung function, no? So, yun po. So, yan. Dito, it is something that I let my students to reflect when we're discussing it in person. So, sinasabi dyan, the audiovisual medium chosen for communicating, then in each situations would be determined by the teacher's decision. However, there are some general functions which may be delineated for the use of audiovisual media in communication, in teaching, and learning. So, pag sinabi nating delineated class, ang ibig sabihin nun, to describe something or explain something in a clearly and detailed manner. So, yun. May mga bagay daw class, may mga explanations daw class na mas ma-explain, no? Mas ma-explain lamang sa atin ng mas better, mas maliwanag kung merong audiovisual media. So I asked one of my students here, what are the example situations in which natulungan kayo ng mga audiovisual presentation to better understand a concept? So they compared it minsan daw sa pagti-teach, no? May mga teachers or may ilang mga teachers daw sila dati and na-experience pa rin right now, more on verbal discussion lamang. So, yung mga bata, nahihirapan daw maintindihan kasi wala man lang silang makitang visual presentation noong mga verbally discussed terminologies na yon, no? So, sa perspective ng mga nagtuturo, especially if I would relate it in according to my own experience, hindi man ako ganun pa katagal sa teaching, but when we studied kasi something, for example, the lesson, no? Parang at tapos nauunawaan namin ng maliwanag yung mga konsepto, and therefore ipapaliwanag namin. Parang kapag ganun, confident ka na yung learners mo maiintindihan kasi para sa'yo naiintindihan mo na. So, sa perspective pala ng mga estudyante, magkaiba pala yon. It's because hindi dahil naiintindihan ni professor, ni instructor ang isang espesipikong bagay, naiintindihan na rin to ni students, no? So yun, may kaibahan. Kaya ngayon class, once again, uulitin natin, this audiovisual or this educational media, okay, again, intended sila for teaching and learning process. So they are serving as the bridge between the gaps po, no? Sa pagitan ng learners at ng nagtuturo. So maaari, yung mga hindi kaya or mga nababanggit na salita, mas napalilinaw pa yung konsepto kapag merong visual presentation or audiovisual representation or presentation. So ganyan po. So unang-una, sige, balikan natin, puntahan natin yung functions. So dito, of course, they help in providing a basis for effective perceptual and conceptual learning. Class, these functions of educational media to be specific, hindi na natin sila iisa-isahin, no? Because why pa ako gumawa ng tawag nga nito, visual presentation, if kinakailangan ko rin naman siyang i-word per word sa inyo. Nakasulat naman na dyan yung example, no? So, ang i-define na lang natin, or ang tutulungan ko na lang kayong i-define, ay yung mga tinatawag kong, kumbaga, quite unfamiliar terms. Siguro, no, because dahil nung inaaral ko din yung lesson or tawag dito, nire-review ko siya kasi before ako to teach, apart from my understanding, nire-review ko muna siya. So sige, perceptual. Class, when we say perceptual, again, the first function is to provide a basis for effective perceptual and conceptual learning. Pag sinabi nating perceptual class, ito yung ating mga nababasa, nakikita, o naririnig. So when we say perceptual learning, it is senses-based. Kung babalik tayo sa theory ni Edgar Dale, no? Yung tinatawag nating Edgar Dale's or model na ginawa din niya. Yes, theory na din. The Edgar Dale's cone of experience model. Siyempre, di ba doon meron tayong sa pyramid na yun class, nandoon yung mga tinatawag nating senses-based. Mga nakikita lang, nababasa ng mga learners. Ilan yung retention rate nito? So, syempre, mas mababa siya, no? Kumpara doon sa mismo tinatawag nating inactive, yung na-involve yung mga learners. So again, perceptual class, mga nababasa o nakikita natin. Senses-based sila. Naririnig, ganyan. So when we say conceptual learning naman, from the word itself, concept or conceptualize, no? Ito yung mga sinasabi nating intended for analysis and critical thinking. So ito yung mga tinatawag nating concept-based learning. For example, okay, we are using models to help the students understand the concepts better. So alangan naman, halimbawa, doon na lang sa cone of experience ni Edgar Dale, no? Sasabihin ko na ang theory na to, sinasabi ng teorya na to ni Edgar Dale na kapag yung mga tao, the more nilang na-experience yung isang bagay, the more nilang mas nauunawaan to at tumatagal din yung retention rate of learning. So sinabi kong ganon, conceptual, no? Tawag dito, narinig na ninyo. Pero, kulang ako sa perception or in a form na, yes, naiparinig ko sa inyo, naipaunawa ko. Pero, hindi naman, kumbaga, naipakita, na-represent yung model sa pamamagitan ng visual presentation. So, sa pamamagitan ng model na pine-present natin, like before, and of course sa inyong mga reporting, mas napapaliwanag natin kung gaano kahalaga ang tinatawag nating experiences para sa mga tao, para sa mga learners nang sila ay matuto. So sa ganun, mas matitrigger natin yung critical analysis or critical learning skill ng ating mga learners. So yan po. All in all class, kung isa-isahin natin sila, yan. Pangalawa, dito, it helps in increasing and sustaining the attention and concentration and the personal involvement of the student in learning the activity. So in short class, these educational media, they make the learning process realistic. For example, yan, science class. Nanonood ka ng live experiment or some simulation of volcanic eruption. So bukod sa nasa-spark nun yung curiosity, natutulungan pa kayo nitong ma-engage all throughout the lessons. So next po, yes, to provide concreteness and realism, no? and the life-likeness into teaching learning situation. So while discussing the community helpers, the teacher shows the video of firefighter in actions or invite a guest speaker na lang mismo para mag-discuss ng topic. So sa ganun, since it's a local firefighter na in-invite, syempre mas real life po at relatable yung mabibigay niyang mga insights. So next naman, to explicate and increase the meaningfulness of abstract concept. Ano ba yung abstract class? Pag sinabi nating abstract, it has no physical form, no? Non-concrete siya, pero alam natin na nag-i-exist, na patunayan siya ay nag-i-exist. The very example, gravity, no? Ito ay abstract concept. Hindi natin siya nakikita, but it is something that is proven by Sir Isaac Newton. So for example, ang ginagawa ko dito, tinuturo ko siya in person, I'm asking my student, my students rather, paano ba sa inyo tinuro yung konsepto ng gravity nung kayo ay high school o elementary sa mga science lessons nyo? Sabi nila, nagpapakita daw ng video lesson si teacher at pinakita ron sa isang demonstration ni si Isaac Newton, Sir Isaac Newton, isang araw ay nakaupo under an apple tree at biglang nalaglag yung apple sa ulo ni Isaac Newton. So ngayon sinabi, nagtaka si Isaac, bakit nalaglag tong apple na to sa ulo ko if it's floating or nakasabit? Ano yung something na nagpupul sa lahat ng mga bagay para sila ay dumikit o lumagpak sa lupa? Na-curious si Isaac Newton, so doon siya gumawa ng pag-aaral. So yan, 'di ba? Hindi natin maiintindihan na yung gravity pala is nag-i-exist because it is something that pulls us all towards the center of the earth, no? Pag pala sa outer space, pupunta tayo halimbawa sa buwan, lulutang ka pala doon, no? Sa outer space, to be specific, lulutang ka. Bakit? Walang gravity. So doon natin maiintindihan na sa pag video lesson, halimbawa may mga video na pine-present, and also sure ako pag sinasabi ko to sa inyo, you're imagining something, visualizing something, since wala naman akong video dito na mapapakita. You're visualizing something sa isang situation na pag nasa mundo tayo, lahat ng nasa taas, lahat ng inilagpak, lahat ng binitawan mo, hindi siya infinite lulutang. Babagsak at babagsak ito sa ground. That signifies gravity versus mga nasa outer space na objects, they are all floating because there is no presence of gravity. So yun po, mga abstract things na ating na-visualize sa pamamagitan ng educational media through video presentation or to be specific, audiovisual presentations. Okay class, so next naman, it helps in bringing the remote events of either space or time into the classroom. So in short class, for example, this one, a class learning about the ancient Egypt watches a documentary featuring a real footage of pyramid and expert historians explaining the culture. So dito class, para ba mapatunayan natin na nag-i-exist yung mga ancient pyramids in Egypt, kailangan pa nating mapunta sa Egypt? Hindi. So sa pamamagitan ng mga educational media, specifically the audiovisual communication or presentations, mas nauunawaan na natin na totoo na meron talagang mga pyramid sa Egypt at ito ay napatunayan ng mga historian. So yung mga ganong events, no, these far events, they are being brought inside the classroom sa pamamagitan ng educational media. So next po, to introduce the opportunity for situational or field types of learning as contrasted with linear, order verbal and written communication. So ito class, ang sinasabi lang dito, it helps in encouraging the hands-on learning. So instead of just reading about plant growth from a textbook, i-visit nyo na lang kaya yung farm at mag-conduct kayo ng gardening activity. So sa pamamagitan yan class, mas nagiging hands-on at situational yung learning process nyo at kayo ay mas natututo. Learning by doing, ni John Dewey, no? So yun po. And of course, the Edgar Dale's Cone of Experiences, once again and repetitively, mas na-experience ng isang tao, mas alam nila kung ano yung gagawin. Mas naglalast yung retention and learnings po sa isang individual. Kaya nga po si Edgar Dale, natagurian natin the father of educational, the modern educational media. So yan po. So applies next, it helps in facilitating. The function, of course, is to facilitate and advance the process of applying what is learned to realistic performance and life situation. So ito class, ang sinasabi lang nito, through the use of educational media, it helps in applying the learning class in real life. So from theory, we make it to reality. So yung theories, they are just merely theories unless we apply them into real life situation. So lahat yan class, sinasabi nga natin guiding principles ang mga theory. At ang pinaka makikita nating benefit natin only in this theory, aside from being our guide, of course, is when we incorporate them into our real life situations. So yun, puntahan naman natin ngayon. So, yun po yung mga functions of educational media. So, puntahan naman natin ngayon tong selecting or the importance of selecting educational communication media. So, bakit nga ba mahalaga to na pinipili pa natin yung mga media na ipepresent natin sa community, no? Pwede naman kung ano na lang maisip natin. So, hindi kasi ganun sa DevCom. Hindi naman talaga ganun din sa teaching, kung papasok man sa field of teaching. Hindi lahat kasi ng media class bagay dun sa isang specific lesson. So, marami tayong kailangan isaalang-alang. So, yan. Need for media selection. Kinakailangan natin class, of course, na maisaalang-alang yung tinatawag nating learner's level of knowledge. Of course, saang environment ba sila? Kailangan nating isaalang-alang din yon. Interest nila. So, yung media ba na to, pag pinigyan mo ba sila ng book, makaka-capture ba nun yung interest nila? So, yon. Of course, will they relate? Naman ba? Kung tayo ay magpe-present sa kanila ng mga video na maaaring sa palagay natin makaka-relate sila. So, talaga nga ba na relevant to para sa pangangailangan ng community? And of course, ano yung opportunity, no? Pag ginamit natin na itong mga media na to, ano ba yung opportunity nila to apply them, what they learned, into a real life situation? How would they apply the knowledge that they learned from that specific educational media? Since sabi nga natin, ang intention nito ay magturo at syempre, magturo at of course, mag-facilitate ng tinatawag nating learnings, not just to inform. So, yon. So, eto class, principles of selecting media. Pag sinabi nating principles, they are serving as guide, no? Guide. So, yan, principles. So, media should be selected for the learner's level of readiness. So, dapat, mga to, alam na natin, meron tayong tinatawag na 6 na principles in selecting the media. Dapat, appropriate sila dun sa level of readiness and learnings ng ating mga learners. Sa environment, nag-agree, nabanggit ko na nga, relevance nila, and then appropriate dapat sa audience. At tapos, dapat this media should provide the opportunity for the learners to apply knowledge. So, media should also be selected to support the learning experience. So, for example, kami, yung ibang mga teacher nyo rin, paano nagtuturo? After discussion, meron kayong gagawing impromptu na mga activities. So, these are the example of selecting the right media class. And of course, pag may audiovisual presentation kasi, less na yung words na ginagamit, nababawasan din yung time na nakukonsume. So, maaalat po yung time para matuto yung learners na gawin yung mga konsepto na tinuro in real life scenarios. They will apply it. So, yun, mga role play, ganyan. Bigla ang reporting, mga ganon. Okay, so now let's have the continuation of our discussion, the use of media in education. So if it's something that I already discussed to you, paki-pass forward na lang yung video doon sa part na hindi ko pa nadidiscuss. So again, the use of media in education. So it refers to the important values of the proper use of AV aids or the audiovisual aids. Dito class, mahalagang bigyan nating pansin yung tinatawag nating Kotari Commission of 1964 to 1966. This one is cited as a situation. It's because I just want to give an emphasis regarding this, the Kotari Commission 1964-1968. So ito ay isang commission class na nabuo sa India noong 1964. Sino ang bumuo nito? Si Daulat Singh Kotari. So let me paano ko ba siya wait lang, I'm using a pen. I'm searching for a pen. Paano ko magagawa here? Okay. So ito, let's try it. Ang sumulat o ang nag-propose po niyan ay si Naku, unlike gumagamit kasi ako ng Microsoft PowerPoint. Hindi ako gumamit ng Zoom ngayon, no? PPT mismo, nag-direct na ako. So, yan. Pinush talaga natin, no? Gusto ko lang malaman nyo yung spelling or pwede nyo naman din siyang i-search for you to verify it. Yan. The Kotari Commission of 1964 to 1968, ang proponent po niyan is si Daulat Singh. May H to. Dapat may H to. Yan. Ay si Daulat Singh Kotari. So, sino siya? Siya ay isang Indian physicist at educationist na naging mahalagang figure class, no, sa pag-reform o paghubog pa ng educational system na meron yung India back in 1960s. Bakit niya ginawa yon? So kasi napansin niya parang nagiging stagnant yung education system na meron sila sa India. So napagdesisyonan po ni Daulat Singh Kotari na ano yung magagawa niya as an educationist. Of course, it is to make an educational revolution dun sa kanilang tawag dito, tinatawag nila sa kanilang lugar. So, ano ba kasing purpose ng Kotari Commission na to? So, unang-una, they want to review o they reviewed the educational system or the education system nga na meron yung India. And of course, they gave recommendations para mas mapabuti yung kanilang quality of education. Ngayon, kasi gusto nila nga na mas ma-improve ito. There is something na kulang sa mga learners. Bakit parang ang mga learners pumapasa lang? What is something wrong with them? No? So this kind of educational revolution ay So yun, this kind of educational revolution class ay ginawa nga po ni Daulat Singh Kotari para mas ma-improve yung educational system na meron yung kanilang lugar. So ano ba yung komisyon, anong natagpuan ngayon nung kanilang komisyon? Yung komisyon na itinatag ni Kotari, no? Sinabi dito class na discover nila na may pangangailangan na ma-improve yung kanilang education system for the sake of what we call national development. So sabi ni Kotari at ng komisyon na nabuo niya class, dapat daw class yung education ay hindi lang basta intended para yung mga learners ay isiping sila ay makapasa, but more on, kapag kami ay pumasa, paano kami makakaambag sa ikauunlad ng aming bayan. So yun yung naging findings nila and recommendations to let the learners dapat aside from a thing na tinuturuan natin yung learners na matuto, essentially quote and quote matuto, dapat ini-imprint o ini-embed din natin sa kanilang mga isip na ang purpose ng education class is for the whole economic growth and the what we call nation building. So yun. So this one, it further stated that the supply of teaching aids ngayon to every school was essential for the improvement of quality teaching. Aside from their discovery to reform the education in a manner na dapat ini-embed natin na dapat pag-graduate ko, paano ko makakatulong sa ating bansa. Dapat tulungan din natin daw yung mga learners na mas maintindihan effectively yung lesson. Avoid too much chalk and talk. Instead, use teaching aids, the audio-visual aid, no? Para mas ma-improve yung quality of teaching and learning experience ng mga estudyante. So, yan. Next po, meron din naman tayong antidote to the disease of, so yan. So again, ito na importance, no? Importance of AV-AIDS, doon pala tayo nga. So ito na po sila. Unang-una, it's an antidote disease for verbal instruction. Pag may nakikita, mas matutulungan ito para less na po yung pagsasalita. Best motivators, the audiovisual presentations class or through the audiovisual learnings, presentations, o ano man yan, ito ay parang motivation din. When you see figures, yun, mas mga malilinaw na demonstration, diagrams, kung ano man yan, mas nagiging attentive po yung ating mga learners. And of course, yan, the clear images. Kapag nakikita natin ng mas malinaw, mas nagiging direct or mas nai-engage tayo dito. At ngayon, nagiging madali po yung pagkatuto. So ano pa? Vicarious experience. Pag sinabi natin vicarious, ano ba kahulugan nun? It's all about, when we say vicarious, it's an act of delivering the feeling to someone else. For example, I'd like to tell you na, halimbawa, yung unang kabanata ng Noli Me Tangere, no? Ano yung unang kabanata? Ang piging, 'di ba? Ang piging o ang pagsasalo-salo. Ikinukwento ko sa inyo na sa piging na yun, nagalit si Padre Damaso. Bakit? Dahil sa kanya napunta yung leeg nung tinolang manok. Ayaw na nga niya ng tinola, napunta pa sa kanya yung leeg na pinakaayaw niyang parte. Para kasi sa kanila nun, pag napunta sa'yo yung leeg, nakakabastos to, para lang to sa mga maghihirap, mabababang uri, ganyan. Napunta pa kay Padre Damaso. So si Padre Damaso, dahil sa nangyari yun, galit na galit siya. Gusto ko ipakita sa inyo na galit siya. Sapat ba na sinasabi ko lang? So sa pamamagitan class ng mga audiovisual presentations natin, mas nai-deliver mo yung nararamdaman o yung emotion sa isang tao, sa mga target audience. Ano pa ang example nitong ano na to? If in digital media, meron tayong mga audiovisual presentations, models, mga ganyan. Noong una naman, sa traditional media, meron tayong tinatawag na theaters and cinema. So, through the theaters and cinemas class, they help, educational media, are helping in delivering the vicarious experience to their learners. So, variety. So, ayan na nga, aside from having chalk and talk, di naman talaga siya masama o hindi naman dapat eliminate, pero yung AV aids class, the audiovisual aids presentations, nagbibigay sila ng variety para makapag-provide tayo ng different tools and learning approach naman sa mga estudyante. Ano pa? It also promotes freedom. So, kapag yung AV aids nagagamit natin, of course, mas malaya na tayo na gamitin o utilize pa yung mga oras na hindi natin magagamit aside from merely reading, writing, or demonstrating something. For example, when I was in elementary, at kayo, sure, naabutan nyo rin yun. Para ituro sa atin, for example, yung konsepto ng urinary system ng tao. Ito yung natatandaan ko. And then, reproductive system ng isang tao. Wala pa nun yung mga PowerPoints, no? So, ang gagawin ni teacher, idodrawing niya yung urinary system, yung reproductive system ng girl or ng female, and then ng male. Para lang maipakita sa atin kung ano yung function ng different parts ng mga organs na yon, no? Nung system na yon, how it actually works. So, ang tagal-tagal. Kaming mga estudyante nun, pinapanalangin namin na magtagal pa siyang mag-drawing para males yung time of discussion, males yung time na nag-aaral kami. So, ngayon hindi na. kumuha ka ng picture, kumuha ka ng video, ipaaral mo, then boom, you have it. After nun, may time pa for simulation or for another learning experience in which you are in need to do something, an activity to do something para mapaliwanag o mas maipakita nyo na naintindihan nyo yung konseptong tinuturo. So, halimbawa kayo, may mga reporting activities. Yan, hindi lang yan basta may nagpapa-report ba na bibigay lang ng topic tapos i-report na, hindi tinuturo. So, dapat may learnings, may input ka muna bago mo mapakita yung output ng mga estudyante. They give more freedom. So, yun, uminom lang ako. So, yan. Opportunities also to handle and manipulate. So, many AV aids offer opportunities to students to handle and manipulate things. Bahala kayo na utilize yung mga audiovisual aids na to. Paano nyo siya gagamitin, paano nyo siya ipapresent in a creative manner na mag-i-engage ang inyong mga audience at the same time ay matututo. So ano pa, retentivity. Of course, sabi nga, 'di ba? Yung cognitive multimedia learning theory. Pag may audio and visual presentation, mas tumataas yung retention of learning sa mga learners. However, merong restrictions lang. Kapag bombarded siya, halimbawa, itong slides na to, pinuno ko siya ng maliliit na text, hindi na po magiging effective yung audiovisual aids na to. Kasi tatamarin na makita o tingnan nyo ng mga estudyante. So, yan. And then, lastly, it is based on the maxims of teaching. Pag sinabi nating maxims, ano ba to? Something na hindi written pero parang guiding principle, ganyan. So, kasi from things that are abstract through the use of audiovisual aids, napapakita namin iyon sa inyo. So, to unknown, and then now you learn it by actually doing something. We involve you. You are now much more involved. So, next, dito, helpful in attracting attention. Of course, alam na natin yan, helpful in fixing up new learning. So, yan, self-explanatory, okay na tayo. And this one, nabanggit na natin, saving time and energy. And of course, realism. It provides a touch of reality. It makes the learning realistic. Next, vividness. Mas napalilinaw ng mga audiovisual aids po yung tinatawag nating learning situations. When we say vivid, linaw. Okay. So, vividness, kalinawan. Then, meeting the individual differences. So, because class, there are learners who are learning na natututo, mas natututo kapag hindi lang nila basta nababasa. May naririnig, may nakikita rin silang mga visual presentation. So, yun. Next, encouragement to a healthy classroom interaction. So, yan. Pag may mga pinapalaro si teacher, no? Natututo yung mga learners din. And of course, it spread the education on a mass scale. So, yan po. So, audiovisual aids like the radio and television help in providing opportunities for education, for education to people living in the remote areas. Next, they provide transfer of learning and training through the use of AV aids class. Mas napapaliwanag natin yung mga konsepto, principles, and of course, natutulungan tayo nito to apply it into real life scenarios, no? Again, ito yung mga importance pa rin ha, at benefits ng audiovisual aids. So, yan. Lahat ng yun class, nagpo-fall under those subtopic in this chapter 4, the educational media. So now, let's have this next discussion, planning for using media. So yan, class, dito sa planning, mahalagang malaman naman natin yung tinatawag nating assure model. So, ito na-encounter ko rin sa mga nagre-report eh. So, in this, it's a theory, right? So, yan. theory that is turned into model. Pag sinabi nating assure model, it stands for A, analyze, S for state, S for select, U for use, R for require, and E for evaluate. So analyze, we have to analyze natin kung ano ba yung general characteristics ng audience natin. Ano ba yung knowledge nila, skills, attitudes, and of course, their learning style. Then next, to educate them, we first have to first state them the objectives or the learning outcomes specifically as possible. Dapat ito ay uh, something na intended na makita sila sa kanila at the end of the lesson. Next, select. Okay, you have to modify the instructional materials. You have to select the proper educational or instructional materials na nararapat para sa kanila. Ngayon, after nun, you use those materials and then follow them up with the class discussion. Gamitin mo na para present yung gusto mong maituro. And then, R is to require them to participate and engage, and of course, to obtain feedback from them. Okay, and then evaluate. You evaluate the use of those media for their impact and their effectiveness when it comes to their effectivity in assuring or facilitating the learning experiences or process of your target audience. So once again, in planning, planning educational or planning the right educational model, we have to practice this one, the assure model. A for analyze, S for state, S for select or selection, U for use, R for require, and E for evaluate. So now let's have this topic, preparing and using media. So using media requires careful presentation. So si Tig and his colleagues, they suggested the following 5 steps procedure for the faculty and students when they are preparing the use of instructional media. Faculty and students, but then again, you're DevCom, no? So as future DevCom practitioners. So now, first one, you have to prepare yourself, of course. Wala namang nagturo dyan na hindi prepare. Pag di ka prepare, ang suffer ay yung iyong learners. And then, of course, you have to prepare your environment. Pag ang environment makalat, walang arrangements, hindi rin po effective yung magiging teaching. Yung learning environment mo. So, you manage lighting, of course, and then the ventilation, okay pa ba? So, yung mga ganung bagay. Ayos ba yung upuan? So, yeah, related in your own experience. Next, you have to prepare the audience. Minsan, dito, to prepare the audience, gumagawa ang mga teachers, the educators ng mga icebreakers. O di kaya naman, nagko-conceptualize sila ng mga tanong na magre-reflect yung mga estudyante. And at the very end of the discussion, masasagot dapat yung tanong na yun. No? Dito rin class yung tinatawag natin, ini-introduce natin sila sa objectives ng lesson. Dapat alam nila yon. So next, using the media. So ngayon, gamit yung mga pinrepare mong instructional materials, ipa-facilitate mo na yung teaching and learning experience ng mga learners mo sa loob ng classroom. So, yung mga nakapag-prepare ng matino, of course, may maituturo. Yung mga hindi, lalo na if kinakailangan talaga nung lesson ng mga audiovisual or mga visual presentation. Of course, walang mape-present doon. So, magsasuffer po yung mga learners. And then, lastly is to combine the media with other learning. So instructional media are components of planned sequences of learning activities. Kaya din gumagamit dito ng mga visual presentation, 'di ba noon may at the end of this lesson, you will do this activity. So ako parang sa EDCOM, sa sobrang dami nating dapat matutunan na topics dito or subtopics, dapat ang ginagawa ko na lang at the end of the lesson, 'di ba, yung PETA na tinatawag natin, the performance task ninyo. So, paano nyo i-apply yung learnings? Yun. Kasi, nagtanong ako sa mga unang instructor, pinagagawa daw to impromptu. So, naisip ko naman, 1 hour and 50 minutes lamang yung ating inaalat na time dito for discussion, for the lecture hours. Baka maratel or, I don't want it naman, the intention naman is hindi para i-baby, but to let the students think pa rin na gawin yung isang bagay na talagang mas pinag-isipan, mas maayos, mas maganda. But sana dumating yung oras na makakagawa tayo, may-utilize natin yung entire time natin to somehow use the available time to create something na mga visual presentations. So, yan po. So, now let's have this, the classification. So, class, yung mga yon tinatawag nating tips in preparing the educational media, no? So, now, pumunta naman tayo ngayon sa classification, potential and limitation of these common media na ginagamit natin sa development work. Ano-ano ba? Kung kayo ay tatanungin. Siyempre, TV, PowerPoint, pwede gumagamit tayo ng televisions, PowerPoint presentation. We're also utilizing the availability of social media, yung Radyo Basi natin, no? Radyo Bulak. So, yun. Tingnan natin. So, ito class, mga examples, print media, audio media, visual, audiovisual media, digital or interactive, and then the experiential media. So, puntahan natin. Una-una class yung print media. So, it includes books and, of course, modules. So, best ito para sa reading and, of course, content creation. Yung strength niya, of course, it's accessible and easy to use. Limitation, hindi nga lang siya interactive. So, yun po yung print media. Then, audio media naman, it includes, of course, radio and then podcast. Ano siya? Used in education, so effective for teaching languages, storytelling, interviews, reaching learners in remote areas. However, yung strength niya, of course, yes, it can be used in multitasking. So, accessible siya sa basic mobile device lamang. Limitation, wala nga lang visual support. So, might be challenging to para mapakita natin sa learners yung mga tinatawag natin visual cues. So, ngayon, puntahan naman natin yung visual media. Pag sinabi natin visual media, ito yung mga charts at graphs. Ano yung strength niya? Madali siyang maintindihan. Limitation, static nga lang, no? Hindi siya interactive. So, saan ito ginagamit? Okay siya class for explaining complex ideas para ma-visualize ito ng mas maayos. So, ideal din to para ma-shorten natin yung presentations and then lectures. Next, ito naman yung pinagsamang audio and then visual. So, it's the audio-visual media, no? So, combine both visual and auditory elements. So, saan siya ginagamit? The educational videos, animations, documentaries, yung mga ganyan. So, sa pamamagitan nito, class, mas made-demonstrate natin yung processes, mga concepts, at makikita din natin yung real-life scenario mismo ng mas malinaw, mas maayos, at hindi nakaka-boring kasi gumagalaw o may nag-act na mismo ng mga tao. So, strengths, of course, it is highly engaging. It caters both the auditory and then visual learners. So, makakapili ka na if alin ka doon both. So, next, limitations, of course, kailangan may TV ka, may projector, and then available lang internet mo. Ano pa? Antenna, yan. And then, passive nga lang yung consumption if hindi rin tayo mag-guide properly. If walang application, yun yung sinasabi ko. Application at the end, kung paano nila naintindihan itong mga audiovisual media. Okay, so next, digital or interactive media. So, ito class yung mga under na to ng mga modern tools na ginagamit natin, no? Modern tools. Okay? Na under that we are seeing through the digital platforms. For example, to the presence of social media, nagagamit na yan ngayon, no? Of course, this one, the learning management systems, mobile learning apps, yan, Google Classroom, gumagamit ako Moodle sa master classes. So next, online quizzes, yes, mga Kahoot, ganyan, simulation games, and then other virtual laboratories. So, anong purpose niya in education? So, it encourages self-directed learning, kung yung mga taong natututo pala sila, learning by doing and also through sarili lang nila, no? Feedback-driven instruction, and of course, global access to resources sa pamamagitan ng digital media class. Napakalawak na ng access natin globally. Ito yung nagpo-fall under the history of EDCOM in the global and network media classification, no? Learnings also. So, strength, of course, it is highly interactive, can be personalized, scalable din siya for mass education. Pero nga, ito ang kinakailangan niya. Limitations. Dapat merong internet, devices, and of course, digital literacy para sa mga tao at na makikinig nito at gagamit nito at magtuturo din. So, yun po. Digital or interactive media. So now puntahan natin yung panghuli. Ito yung pang-anim, experiential media. These involve learning through experience-based and real-world engagement, so often rooted in active participation. This is very important in DevCom because what we are encouraging in DevCom is not just through merely listening, but also to make our audience actually participatory communication. So, ang magagamit natin dito yung mga tinatawag nating experiential media. Example, role-playing, educational games, community immersions and workshops, pinagagawa sa inyo commonly, the field works, no? OJT, yan, experience nyo din. So, ito, use in education, syempre dito na nai-enhance po yung critical thinking skills nyo. And of course, bakit? Kasi you are being submerged into hands-on, into the real-life environment. And therefore, yung learning ninyo, hands-on siya. It is experience-based. So, yun po. So, the strength, of course, deep po yung learning natin. And empathy when we see the situation mismo. So, this is the most suitable for development work because it encourages also class, it encourages what we call behavioral change to our target audience. Limitations, of course, it is time consuming. Hindi mo siya magagawa or magawa mo man siya in the short span of time, yung quality po ay hindi ganun ka ganda, no? And this one is requiring facilitation and resources. Magastos siya. At dapat, meron talagang maraming tao na mag-handle. Hindi siya kaya siya i-handle alone, but it will take a lot of toll on that specific person. So, yun po. Yun po yung mga tinatawag nating classifications ng mga media in educational communication as well as their strengths and their limitations. So again, 5 sila, no? Meron tayong anim sila. Print media, audio media, visual media, and then combination ng dalawa, audio-visual media, digital or interactive media, and of course, the experiential media. So, yun lang po. Tingnan natin. Yun na ang katapusan ng ating discussion class. So, pag sinabi nating, yan. What can we conclude regarding this? Especially that I gave the objective of, at the end of this discussion, you are expected to understand the educational communication media at ano yung applicability niya sa development work. So, sana ito ay naging malinaw sa inyo, your next task for this lesson class, and that will also serve as your midterm requirement. Kinakailangan ma-utilize nyo kung ano tong mga media na to at may apply nyo siya into real life work scenario. So what can we conclude, class? We can conclude from this discussion that educational media really plays an what do you call this? A highly significant role when it comes to teaching and learning. Hindi lang sa teaching and learning, but more on in the perspective of development communication. Sa panong paraan? Pag alam natin ang konsepto ng EdCom class at educational media, alam mo agad kung ano yung kailangan ng iyong community, no? So, it helps in improving the learning process and of course the understanding of our audience. It also encourages them to engage somehow, to participate, yes, because it's a participatory type of communication, and of course to apply those learnings in real life scenarios. So ngayon, ano mangyayari kapag napili nga natin yung tamang media? So choosing the right media class is essentially beneficial for an effective education and facilitating of teaching and learning process. So yeah, 1 hour for the discussion of all of this. That ends our presentation. Thank you, everyone.